Welcome to Tech and Thrive, where we explore the intersection of technology, well-being, and performance. Our goal is to uncover the stories of pioneers and entrepreneurs who are not only shaping the future of tech, but also prioritizing balance, creativity, and purpose along their journey. Today, we're excited to be joined by Isabelle Ohnemus, former investment banker, tech founder, and a champion of fashion sustainability. Isabelle is the founder and CEO of EyeFitU, an AI-driven sizing and fit technology that helps fashion retailers reduce their returns, boost conversion, and drive more sustainable consumption. With her unique background in finance and deep understanding of customer behavior, Isabelle has built a platform that redefines how we shop online by putting personalization, fit, and efficiency at the core. Welcome, Isabelle. So nice to have you.
Likewise. Thank you for having me, Kimia.
You're welcome. This is a really weird question, but did I pronounce your last name correctly?
You did.
Yeah.
Actually, not many people do, but you did.
Yeah, amazing. Where does the name come from, by the way?
It's my husband's name.
Yeah.
So it comes from from Basel, but originally from the south of Germany, I believe.
Nice, yeah.
That's where the origin is from.
Amazing. Yes, I have had the pleasure of meeting your husband, and you guys are such an amazing couple.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've been married quite a long time,
Yeah,
right?
we've been married a long time. We have 5 daughters.
Amazing.
So, yes, a lot happening.
Yeah, he has a lot of girls around him.
Yes.
That's fantastic. And from what I've heard, all of the girls are very exceptional. So that's really cool.
Yeah, they are driven, which is important.
Absolutely.
But we always told them, do whatever you love, and then you will be happy and successful.
Yeah, looks like that worked out. It's super nice. Yeah, I mean, I remember when I saw you guys, you're like this couple that has basically just met. You're so in love. And maybe for context, Isabelle and we met at a wedding in Barcelona. And I remember when I met her, because I had just been talking to so many people who work in finance and real estate. And then she's like, yeah, and I have a tech company. And then my ears were like, what? Okay, this is really cool. I really need to talk a little bit more with this woman. And then I think that was the rehearsal dinner. And then the next day we had quite a long chat at the actual wedding.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was very interesting to know what you are doing, right? Because of course I know what I'm doing, but I'm curious, and what you are doing is amazing, right?
Thank you so much.
You really try to shape a bit this tech world in Switzerland, in our little country, but very technology-driven country, actually. So you are really a part of that generation coming and trying to move things, and also enable women to be a part of that change. And with the AI, it's a big word, but it will have a lot of impacts. And I think you are at the forefront of this, seeing how this will impact our lives, our jobs, medicine, of course, many domains. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
For the best, we hope. For the best, yes.
Yes. Yeah, ethics and AI is always a big topic. Kiana is sadly not here today, but she actually had a full course only about ethics and AI.
Yeah.
And they went through a lot of different cases where you had to figure out, so what is in this case right and what's not.
Correct.
I believe there was a very sad story about someone who committed suicide when they were talking to a chatbot. And that was a very controversial topic, and I remember Kiana and I talking about it, and she had it in her class. And sadly, she's not here because she's out sick, as we just talked about. Many people are at the moment. These 2 to 3 days, flus throughout the summer. So Kiana, I hope by now, when this episode is published, you're back on your feet and feeling amazing.
Yes, me too.
Good. So let's dive into it, I would say.
Let's go.
Can you take us back to the moment that you decided to go from a successful career in banking to launching your own tech company?
Definitely. It was, in banking, of course, you get access to many analyst reports, and the fashion industry has always interested me not only because I like to wear nice things, but it's more about an industry that is always changing. Brands are always evolving. Artists are shaping also a part of our lives, right? So it is this mix of artist, designer, whether it's clothing or jewelry or paintings, whatever it is, right? It is somehow linked to the art world. And the way fast fashion has evolved, the way big groups have evolved in using technology to spread and sell more efficiently. For example, Zalando, right, is the typical example. And the reason why I decided to found EyeFitU is what is known in the fashion world as the Zalando effect, at least in Europe, which is shop as much as you can, try it out, send back, everything for free, super efficient. But then the environmental consequences are huge, right? Why? Because when you order something and, okay, either it doesn't fit you or you don't like it or you want to post an Insta picture of you wearing this thing, it doesn't matter the reason why, but you send it back. What happens then, right? And this is where it is not transparent from any brands. So is it that it goes back to a wholesaler? Do they have to wash it, recondition it, dry clean it, or is it burned, right? So that's from a multi-brand perspective, like Zalando, but there are many others. Or is it a single brand that you order from? What's happening then when you return? And we know that they overproduce 30%, right?
Wow.
30% is overproduced. And this is just so inefficient. And it damages our environment, right? This packaging, throwing away, burning, sending, populating the beaches of Africa like we have seen it in many reports, the deserts in Chile, the white man trash, like they call our clothes, right? This is not sustainable. And the most important thing in fashion and sustainability, in their sustainability efforts, is, of course, the materials, right? That they can be recyclable, that they can damage the less possible our earth, because we only have one, right? So we have to take care of it at every single level that we can, whether it's by recycling our trash intelligently or, trying to take care of it, right? So I thought, okay, I'm not a chemist. I know many people in tech already through my, friend and extended friend circle. So what can I do in the second half of my life to try and have my little impact? And it's to diminish the returns, because 75% of things that are returned when you buy online is due to size and fit.
That's crazy.
So that's where I thought I would focus, and that's why I founded EyeFitU. So I think most founders, also in tech, are trying to have a purpose, right? Whatever the purpose is, whether it's in the healthcare or, fintech, whatever. It makes your day more fun when you have a purpose, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Yes. So then if your day is more fun and you enjoy what you're doing, then of course you will be more successful, I think.
Yeah, I really believe that I have seen people who have founded companies just because they thought there was a lot of money to be made.
Yeah.
But they probably, during that whole time until they maybe had the exit, were not really happy,
Yeah.
And that was also one of the reasons why I transitioned into working for myself and founding our company, is yeah, I saw something that I thought people needed, and I really thought I could make an impact through our technology consulting, which is very holistic as opposed to a lot of different companies. And then obviously also helping people through our performance coaching offering. And it is very interesting. I don't think I work much less than when I worked in strategy consulting, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really feel like work, you know?
Yeah.
So even though now, especially at the beginning, you will always make less money, I'm so much happier. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, at the end of the day, I think, at least for you and also for me, that is a very important aspect to it, right? You have, like in any job, you have the routine. You have to, especially when it's a startup, raise capital, the due diligence, all those things you have to do anyway. But the percentage of the time when it's about thinking about the next steps, talking to your clients, listening to your clients, right? That's important for their feedback, especially at the beginning. And it's a constant evolution, right? Mm-hmm. Any company you found, you don't go out with a product that is perfect and, that will never change. It's
Absolutely.
A constant evolution. And that's the interesting part, because the market also, the expectations, the technology, and the consumer behavior also evolves, right? And we have seen it, especially during COVID, right? How everything suddenly shifted, and the companies who were already online, how they benefited from that, how the laggards, stayed laggards or died, right? Mm-hmm. So new brands emerged that were digital only. So there were, in 2-3 years, an acceleration in retail that maybe was like 10 or 15 years before would have taken place, right? Mm-hmm. Everything accelerated. And that was a great moment to live that for us, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And what role, because you used to work in finance, right? Mm-hmm. What role did that background play in founding the company? I just remember that we also talked a little bit about the statistical model and so on that you implemented. So it's very numbers driven.
Yes.
But of course, I guess you also knew that in general, I mean, I read somewhere that the fashion e-commerce market has a projected growth of over 1 trillion by 2030. So yes. It's also kind of an interesting market to be in, I guess.
Definitely. It is, yes. And the background in finance, I studied economics. So the background in finance is understanding a balance sheet, right? Those ground things, that help you when you go out to raise money. You understand what is EBITDA, what is that's the foundations, right? Of running a business, I guess. But for me, the most important thing is to be in a market that has a significant size, that is in constant evolution. That makes it exciting, right? Because now with AI, we just launched our generative AI, with LLMs, so we can integrate also the sizing, recommendation tool in it. So what it does is that it's prompts, right? So whether an online store has a chat or a search bar, we can also have this search bar on every product page. And then let's say, Kimia, you type in, I want an outfit for a cool evening on the lake. It should be not too elegant, not too casual. Please show me, your, I need a complete outlook, complete outfit. And then, boom, you have all the dresses with the shoes, with the bag, with some earrings, maybe with some shawl, whatever.
Is that connected to your previous purchase history?
No, it's based on that prompt on your request. Yeah. So if you say, I'm looking for a blues or a blue dress, or you can refine it, right? But you can also leave it general, and then it will show you everything that they have, that they think you would like, and also in your size.
So nice.
So this makes
that's a
the
dream.
shopping much faster, because the attention span has shrinked a lot, right? So from, like a 10, 15-minute search or whatever, now it's like a few minutes. People want to get what they're looking for fast. Or let's say you have seen a look on Instagram. Then you can upload on this brand's website a photo of whatever brand.
That's so cool.
I'm looking for something like this.
I love that.
You know?
I really have that. I mean, what I usually do is, so I do have my Pinterest boards with outfits I like. So then on Pinterest, you can actually also, sometimes they have the link on the image where you can then get the product.
Correct.
But not always.
Yeah.
And then sometimes maybe it's too expensive, or sometimes, it doesn't exactly look how you want it.
Yes.
So that would be so cool to be able to maybe go on a shop that you anyways know that you love their products and their quality is amazing, upload the picture and then get the recommendations.
Exactly. And you can put also maximum whatever your budget is, right? So all this is coming very fast. Some retailers are experimenting those things already. I think Mango just came out with a very simple version of that. We have a more advanced already version that we are showing to clients since 2 weeks. So this is brand new.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Good timing that we're talking.
Yeah, it's great.
So who are your clients?
Our clients are global. So we have clients in Australia, in the States, in Taiwan, in Thailand as well, in Europe. So they are fashion brands, whether it's luxury all the way down to what is called fast fashion and everything in the middle, and also sports brands, a lot of sports brands. Yeah. So they were very fast in adopting new technologies, the sports brands. Yeah.
Maybe for the listeners, can you explain what you do exactly
Of
at
course.
EyeFitU and and also how you help your clients?
Yeah.
And then also the end consumer in return, right?
Yeah, of course. So EyeFitU is, I call it size as a service platform. So that's where we enable consumers when they go on the website with just a few questions, 3 questions, to find out what size they should buy in that particular garment. So we are on every product page, and you just have to put in your age range, your height and your weight, and then we match that to the size charts of the brands, and then show you, so with a very sleek design, wear this garment and how will it fit you. So for example, if it's a top, we will show you the waist, the bust measurement, for example, and then you will see it's going to be maybe a little tight here or maybe a little loose, and that's the size recommended for you. And you do this only once, and then you will see that on all the product pages, when you are browsing on the website, the size recommended for you and also the visualization.
That's so cool. So, and still I'm so perplexed by these only 3 questions.
Yeah.
And then, as I said at the beginning, you guys work with like statistical models to then
Correct.
find the correct size. And do you have any I mean, there's always outliers, right?
Correct.
But how often do you get it right?
So when we hit 87 to 90%, we are very happy, right? So there are always outliers. And that's why those outliers, we manage to cover them in 2 ways. One way is that we show the body measurements assigned by our algorithm to the consumer on the page, right? So on the product page, on the website. So they can see, okay, this was the measurement given for my breast and for my waist. And we have a print the tape there, so you can print your tape, or you know your measurements and you can adjust. So that's very inclusive, right? That's important to us to be inclusive, because somebody might have, I don't know, smaller breasts, bigger breasts, whatever. So they can adjust the measurements assigned from the statistical model, right? And the other way that we have now tested, it's based on neural networks and deep learning. And this would be in addition, right? That's also brand new product that you haven't seen, and it's camera-based. So you can put your phone, let's say, on your desk and then take 2 pictures of yourself from the front and from the side, wearing tight fitness clothes. And there it's to the millimeter, the precision. But people are lazy when they shop. They don't want to change this and that. So I think offering the 2 will be the safest way to cover 100% of all body measurements, right? So our experience, and we have A/B tested a lot, when you ask people, how big are your tights? Survey-based software, it's called. How, large or thin is your waist and stuff. You enter into subjectivity. And when you enter into subjectivity, then the statistical model with regression and machine learning, it goes bad, right? Because the subjectivity of people is not accurate enough. It's too subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you ensure then that you get the right training data?
So we have, of course, we use a database, right? It's global, because now we have clients in Asia as well. And they were countries who have body scanned the population. So we have access to that.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Which countries do that? I've never heard of this.
Oh, yes. Many in their surveys, for the...
Okay.
You had the big India one. Yes,
Okay,
you had the big India survey. You had Germany, for example, for whatever manufacturing capacities they need to access the population scanning results, right? If you want to build whatever that is for the consumer, you need to access that, whether it's a car, whatever it is, right?
Okay, just for my understanding. So what I before understood was that there's countries that they scan the whole population regarding their size and everything.
Well, they have done, I think India is going through a major one since 4 or 5 years.
Really?
Yeah, but then some results come out. Indonesia as well. And Indonesia is very interesting because Indonesia, people are very, very short compared to the rest of the world. Yes. So they have also some statistical models there about their population, body measurements, dimensions.
You guys do go from country to country. You have a different
We have done
model.
that years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, makes sense. Yes. That is so interesting.
And then, of course, machine learning helps, right? So populations, for example, that are very interesting for us is, of course, in the United States, right? In the United States, it's a very mixed population, and that's where we started. Our first clients were American, because then you could train much faster the algorithm with the machine learning. Yeah.
That's so interesting because... Yeah, I guess in Switzerland you only give your height, right? And that's it. Usually on your document, on the ID, you only see the height and nothing else.
Yes.
But that's so interesting that I guess then they have to put in their actual measurements.
Yes, so Europe has gone, the last 10 years, they did that for Spain, for France, for Denmark, Holland, Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to have such a database, exactly as you said, for different types of use cases, right?
Yeah, and you understand better as well. And you see it also in the way brands produce, right? Because each brand has different size charts. Each brand.
Absolutely. I
So
can confirm 100%.
that's the mess. That's the mess, right? So some brands, for example, some Danish brands, not to name them, but they size very large because the Danish population and the Dutch population, they are taller, right, than an Italian or a Swiss, right? So it's very important for consumers when they buy those brands, because those brands are sold on multi-brand stores, on the single brand. Danish fashion is exploding, right? There is so much talent in this country in fashion. But the size charts, when you buy outside of Denmark, if you buy normally an M, they're definitely you have to buy an S or an XS, right? So we have to translate that also for their websites when they sell outside of the country.
That's so interesting. So, I mean, in the last years since you founded the company, can you take us a little bit through the evolution? Like how it all started out, what were the features that you had back in the day, and then now, obviously, with the whole AI craze, what you've implemented?
Of course. No, it was an interesting parcours. So the way we started, we decided to go first B2C, so business to consumer, in order to get data, right, for machine learning to start. So we started with a fashion app, and it was called EyeFitU, so same name, and we had 52 stores there. So multi-brands and single brands. So from Net-a-Porter to, Adidas, whatever, right? So 52 brands we chose and multi-brand stores. Why? Because there, when you downloaded our app, you could input the same values, so your age range, height, and weight. And then with filters, you could immediately see what's available in your size in that online store. So that's called an affiliate model, right? But it trained a lot our algorithm because many people were downloading it. The B2C model is very expensive model, but it was worth every cent because we managed to achieve this precision, right, in recommending. And then we shifted to B2B, like we had thought, right? So SaaS model and only selling it directly to brands. Yeah. So no more fashion app. They even tested that on ProSieben, our fashion app. We were on ProSieben and they had randomly, we didn't know, huh? They did not tell us. And suddenly, a friend calls me from Berlin, Isabelle, they're testing your app on ProSieben. I was like, what? But it was good.
So it was a positive feedback.
It was
from
a positive.
ProSieben.
Yes.
Nice.
That was good. Yes.
Really good. So then did you discontinue the app?
We discontinued the app, exactly, Kimia. We discontinued the app and we went B2B only. So adjusted, of course, the website, right? Build up a CRM. Like we use HubSpot now, right? So then
this episode is not sponsored by HubSpot.
It's not sponsored by HubSpot.
We would love to get a sponsoring from HubSpot.
Yes.
If someone
Please,
is out
HubSpot,
there.
help the young people. So
actually, on HubSpot they have a free version, and it's pretty okay. So,
I know.
But feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Good. And then that's where we built up the database, of clients and the personas and the marketing strategy, and it's very different, right? When you are B2B or B2C.
Yeah.
So
it's very interesting. Some people would say before you go into B2B, you should first try B2C.
Are you serious?
It's super. Yeah, I've heard that before. And I am a little confused because I have only ever been in B2B environments.
Yeah.
So for me, this is interesting. And also I feel like B2C is just so hard.
It is. It is very hard, especially coming from a small market, right? Switzerland is a very small market. So it's not only hard, it needs a lot of money, right, to reach out. It's very crowded out there in the B2C market, B2B as well, but B2C is much more crowded, and you need different marketing techniques and instruments, plan your campaigns way ahead, and it's very different.
Yeah. Can you tell me some of the differences? Because you've been in both, actually, with the same company.
Yes. So, believe it or not, but B2B is much more personal than B2C, first thing. So, the contacts you have with your B2B clients is over the years, and it's a trust relationship, right? And it builds up, right? And they're always eager to learn more whenever we develop new things. And it's very, personal, I would say, and based on trust. In the B2C, it's your message out there, right? Why is it a must-have right now to download our app? So you have to create this urgency, right?
Like FOMO.
FOMO, correct. And how do you also make it that it develops itself into a community, right? Because that's also important for B2C. So how do you develop this community? How do you keep up with the community? And then your pricing. You also have that in B2B. But in B2C, because you work with an affiliate model in our case, our pricing depends on the brands, right? And the commissions are so low for whoever is selling for Net-a-Porter or, whatever. So you get really squeezed, right? Because you're the middle person somehow. You're not only selling your product, you are, in our case, as an affiliate model, you are squeezed, right? If you would go and develop your own clothing brand, let's say, then you would have other challenges than that. But you would also have the challenge of affiliate because you want your brand to be sold in more than your own platform, right? And that's where your margins are extremely important. You look at other things, right? Let's put it this way.
Yeah, super interesting. Because I'm also currently advising a circular fashion startup in my free time. Shout out to Bloom at this point. And Sophia, she's amazing. She's the founder. And we also had a lot of discussions about B2B, B2C. And at the moment, she's starting with B2C. But then very quickly, we'll also move into B2B.
Yeah.
And what they do is they have an app, and it's always, for me, I'm like the perfect person to use this app actually, because one year I cleaned out my closet and I decided I wanted to sell my clothes either online or in a store or at a Flomi, which is like a flea market in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And Jesus, I spent so much time finding the right places. I got no money for my clothes, to be honest, even though they were worth so much more. And then I also had this 2 days where I had to stay on my rack the whole day because there was obviously nobody else who was going to do it for me. And what she's developed is this amazing app where, on the one hand, you as a consumer, you can go, let's say, to a flea market of theirs, and then you just tag all of your clothes with the QR code, and then the people can scan the QR code and check your clothes out. So you don't even have to be there.
So cool.
Which is so amazing.
Yeah,
that's a lot of time I spent, right? And then the second thing is also when I was selling in store with a different, second-hand store, you could bring your clothes and stuff. And then you can rent a rack there. Yeah. They had the shittiest software ever. It was so inconvenient and not user-friendly. Yeah. And her app is actually also going to be amazing for second-hand stores to have their own inventory inside the store because you can obviously repurpose the thing that I just told you about,
Yeah.
the flea market.
Yeah.
And her vision is amazing. I mean, she wants to have all of these stationary clothing racks around the world, ideally. So let's say you go to Saint-Tropez next weekend and you don't have an outfit, but you know that there's a bloom rack at the airport.
Yeah.
So you can go there, you can open up
So cool.
the closet or whatever, and then you can just online, you already checked which outfits you really like, and then you can scan the QR code, you can take the dress, and then go on your vacation, have a good time, and then if you go back, I mean, obviously wash it and everything, but then you can also put it back because it brought you an amazing time, and now you can move on to the next one, right?
Yeah.
But this way, it stays in this circle of, it's circular fashion.
Absolutely, it is 100%.
And it goes from closet to closet.
Yeah.
And what is also so sweet is, so she has such an amazing vision, is down the line, she wants to have a digital wardrobe for everyone so that I see who owns my piece, for instance.
Oh, wow.
And then you can
Okay.
also write about your memories that you had with this amazing handbag. I don't know, maybe this was the dress you wore when you got proposed to, and then I get it, and I know that once upon a time Isabelle got engaged in this dress, you know. So she has such an amazing vision, and I think what shocked me the most was really the whole sustainability aspect also that she talks about. I mean, with all of these fast fashion brands nowadays. And then also, as you said, the beaches and the deserts and so on, white man's trash. It's so sad. And I think this really will solve this problem if people were just more conscious and tried secondhand once in a while, right? Yeah.
And I think, more and more people are trying and are buying secondhand. You can see also, one of my daughter's girlfriends, they have also on Instagram, and people bring them things as well so they can sell them. You see some racks now in stores, and big brands also are trying, hey, bring us your clothes back. We will, recycle them. So it's thanks to women like your friend, or your colleague, that things are changing. Mm-hmm. And I think the world is ready for that.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think so, yes. I can see it. More and more people are, even my generation, we go in secondhand shops, look what's around. Definitely, yes.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about this B2C and B2B problem. And for her, I think, or for us also when talking about it, we were also struggling with which way we should go first, and then obviously we're thinking about what we should include in the first release, second, and so on. Yeah. And we had a lot of talks about B2C and B2B, but for her, I think she's so passionate. She really wants to help the people, so the end consumer at the day. So that's also why I think now we decided that we're probably first going to focus on the B2C.
Yeah, and she will get really valuable feedback,
Absolutely.
Whether it is for the payment solution, whether it is for, how people bring clothes back, in what state can, like you said, for example, they go to the beach, then they bring it back at the airport. Have they had time to wash it or not, all those things will be extremely important because at the end of the day, it's clothes you're going to wear. So there is the hygiene part of it as well, right? Mm-hmm. People are lazy. So she's going to learn a lot along the way of,
Yeah, I think she already did a testing last year at one of her flea markets with an MVP.
Yeah.
Now she's going to build it out. And she already got so much feedback. It's true, I think. And that's also coming back to what we said at the beginning when you were talking about when you go to market with a product, it doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
It's so important to iterate and then course correct and then try again.
Yeah.
And I think for me also at the beginning, it was very hard, even though I've said this before, but I come from this technical background from software development, so iteration is something that's very natural for me. But then I'm like a perfectionist.
Yes.
So, it was very hard for me to go out with something where I'm not 100% sure that this is it, you know?
Yes.
So it's always a constant, jump between wanting to be perfect and then realizing, no, you don't have to be perfect. You need to get feedback, and then it's going to be perfect down the road. Or it will never be. I don't know. But it's constantly evolving, right?
It's constantly evolving, and it's okay. It should be this way because everything is evolving, right? And I see it, for example, with us. When I came up with the visualization, you know, the design, when you get the sizing recommendation, you know, on the product page, it was not even 3 months later, we saw, you know, company in the US, a company in the UK copying us, you know. And this also is part of it, right? So you get copied. Those are things you cannot patent, you know. The technology you can, but you also have to iterate constantly because you are being constantly copied, you know, and sometimes badly copied. And you're like, why? You know, why would they come up with this? You know, At least copies are good. But this is also the challenge, you know, for any startup, any company. And you asked me before in terms of our impact, right? So the impact we create is around less 30 to 35% return rates.
Wow, that's amazing.
For the retailers.
Yeah.
So there are two parts impacting this number. One is people will get the clothes in the right size, right, which is great. That's the whole goal. And the second part is people will bracket less. So bracket means that they order 2 of the same garment in different sizes, right? Because they're not sure. They want to try it on. So there we also impact. It's much less bracketing and less returns due to the wrong size and fit. Yeah.
That's so nice. Yeah, I mean, in general, when we're talking about sustainability, how do you figure out, besides like now, obviously these numbers, how you have had an impact? So you were mentioning the return rates that go down, obviously. So there you can infer that you've had a positive impact on less packages being sent back and so on, and then also less clothes being burned.
Correct.
What else?
It's very difficult to calculate the CO2 emission impact. Mm-hmm. So we took a few formulas, you know, based on, McKinsey, you know, has those piliers, right, of sustainability. And so we tried to really put it in Excel and see how we would impact. But it's the lack of transparency from the brands. That's where we're stuck, right? So we don't know how we impact, for example, when they get brought back to the wholesaler, what happens afterwards, right? So we based our sustainability ROI, if you want, we based it on a study that I managed to get hold of. They were very nice, from the University of Gothenburg. And they have made a study on the impact of the returns, from calculating small transportation, medium, large transportation, right? So also that, the trucks emissions, all this, plus the clothes, the amount being returned, where are they returned, right? So this is Sweden only, but you can see that they are transported back to a big wholesalers in Poland, right? But what happens from there on, where are those clothes going? That's when the door is shut, right? But at least this part, they have been able to calculate. Mm-hmm. So,
do you think there is also a shift towards more transparency in that space?
I think the shift is coming, but from the consumer. They demand more transparency, I think. And the brands adjust. I think it's more this way. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Today was the scandal with Loro Piana, right? In Italy this morning. I just saw it on Business of Fashion. So they discovered some sweatshops outside of Milano that are producing for Loro Piana, you know? For only Chinese people working there in those sweatshops outside Milano. They don't need to do that, right? They do beautiful things. And if their margins are a bit less, you know, the consumer will be okay. You know, they will survive that, but they don't need to have that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was still at uni, because so for a time I was vegan, then please don't come at me. Then I was vegetarian, and then when I had my vegan phase, I was like, I would love for people to know where their products come from.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of when you go into one of the supermarkets, you would just put on a goggle, and then you'd see everything. Then you take up, you see like a video of going back in time where it originally came from.
Yeah.
And I mean, then you would, obviously, if you get meat, you would have to see how it's being slaughtered and how it's being produced. But then it would also be very interesting to see that with your clothes, because there is so little transparency.
Correct.
I mean, these huge fast fashion brands like Shein and all of these, they all claim that they are so sustainable because they produce only, I guess, when somebody orders, which is, I mean, insane to think. That's at least the claim that they have made in the past. And I mean, I would really be curious to know what's actually behind it, you know?
Me too. And are they worse than the top luxury brands or everything in the middle?
That would also be very
I don't know,
interesting to know,
right?
yeah.
Because you don't have any visibility. You know, when you have hundreds of Chinese working outside of Milano, you know, how much do they earn? Are they paid like a European worker? You know, all those things. Do they have social security? All those things we don't know, right? But that's LVMH Group. You know, they cannot do that. You know what I mean? And some of the big brands in Europe or America, they also produce, you know, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and now they're saying, oh, maybe it became too expensive, you know. Then they go to Ethiopia, where you earn, you know, I think it's just or a bit less than $1 a day, right? So they are looking for those things now, which is the UN, you know, minimum is $1 a day, right? So where is all this being produced, and how can people survive working for, you know, such brands? But do they have a choice, you know? It's...
Yeah, a lot of ethical questions.
Yeah, a lot of ethical questions. Yeah.
And I think I used to live with a couple of girls, and then I have to admit I also had my Zalando phase where I would obviously then, because I was completely ignorant back then, right?
Yeah.
So I would order things in different sizes because I wasn't sure which one was going to fit me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh yeah, it's easy, I can just return it. But then I never thought about what will happen then.
Then, yes.
Right? Until I think I read this crazy article about Burberry, like lighting their stuff up.
Yeah.
And not even reusing some of their collection.
Yeah.
And then I went deeper, and that's when I also realized, wow, this is very fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, so I also became much more conscious about when I shop, where I shop. I also have a lot of secondhand things.
Yeah.
So I'm very into that, and I think it's a great investment also depending on the pieces. I remember, Mom, don't be mad at me, but when I told my mom the first time, that was like over 10 years ago, so it wasn't really hype back then to buy secondhand. When I told my mom that I bought something from another person, basically, she looked at me like I was crazy because she was from, I mean, she's from this generation where it's just not normal, or at least 10 years back, it was not normal. Now she also is totally open to it. But I remember that for her, it was like, how could you ever wear something that belonged to someone else? But then where is the end, right? So that means we need to keep producing and producing new things because nobody ever wants to touch something that has belonged to someone else.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's complete madness, right?
Yeah, it is. And it was so, how can I say? It was really in our consumer behavior, it was normal back then, right? I mean, Jackie Kennedy started a bit by selling, all her beautiful clothes in a secondhand shop in New York. And she was like, I'd rather have the money and buy myself new clothes. That was, another reason to do it. But they were purchasing, of course, her clothes secondhand because it's Jackie Kennedy or all those actresses. They always put their clothes, they wear them once, of course. So that was not the purpose of sustainability, but it was already back then an accepted normal behavior, right? That you're not going to wear something twice. So that's another way, right? To think about it. You're not going to wear it twice. So you put it for sale. But now I'm happy that this generation, where I'm unhappy is that startups that try to develop really materials that are 100%, sustainable cannot cannot become successful, right? It's so difficult. There was one in Sweden that went bankrupt last year, and really producing materials 100% sustainable and 100% recyclable, right? And those are not getting enough funding and enough attention that brands jump on their technology and say, yeah, we're going to produce with that and be 100% sustainable, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the brands don't want to spend more money, right, on the materials that they can get so much cheaper somewhere else.
Exactly. Their margins are already squeezed, in fast fashion, as we know. So retailer is a cutthroat business, right? Whether it's food, as you mentioned, or clothing. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I just want to circle back a little bit on the AI topic that we touched upon. I mean, nowadays there's so many things all around AI. You're also implementing it in your company, obviously. And I wanted to ask what applications you see in general in the fashion industry for AI in tech.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, for instance, reading, I believe it was H&M that launched AI-generated ads. So they had AI-generated models. And obviously they said that it's because they want to reduce the carbon footprint, so not everyone has to travel and so on. But probably it's also a little bit cheaper for them.
Definitely, yes.
But that's,
yes,
not what you're going to communicate, I guess. And there's also, as you just mentioned, for different retailers, they have AI-powered sizing engines now themselves. And then Google, I think we talked about it when we had our first meeting. They had just come out with the virtual reality try-on in the AI shopping mode. So what do you think is going to be the next big thing?
There are many things, right? So, but it's an interesting question. Thank you. One, of course, there are those digital models, Mango is also implementing them now. So this will, of course, cut jobs, right? But on the other hand, I don't know if you've seen them, but they have to become better, right? They still don't look like a human. And when you shop, you like to see a human wearing the clothes. As we know now from, all the KPIs, it sells better when somebody's wearing the clothes on the photo than not, right? So it's going to be interesting to see the adoption of this. Now, in terms of the try-on virtual things, right, which is extremely interesting. And we have worked on that also with the company in Germany that unfortunately did not make it. So they were basically producing body scans, and then people had to go in the store into the body scan, and then we were giving the sizing advice on the online store, right?
So it's a physical
it's a physical
body scan.
You need a physical body scan in order to get really the 3D, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's something that might look like you. So you can have, of course, there's no limit. You can have thousands, millions of body types, right? But then you need the other part of it, which is the clothing in 3D as well. And this is where brands are also putting some efforts now, but it's still a bit expensive. Less expensive than before, but you need to have the 3D rendering of the clothing, right? In order to be able to put it on a body so that the consumer sees how it would look on me, for example, right? In 3D. But as long as you don't have the photos of the clothing in 3D, you cannot do that. So some brands have it already, and then it's a question of now, I would say, 2-3 years, where more and more will get those photos. It gets cheaper, the technology, and then you will be able to have that as an experience when you shop. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I have personally not tried it yet.
Yeah.
But I've seen some videos of like a guy trying on a dress. I mean,
Yeah.
on the Google
Yes.
AI shopping
Yes.
thing. And I mean, it's surprisingly accurate.
Yeah.
Obviously, his breast was out because the dress was way too tight for
Yes.
him and not
Yes.
properly measured to his body. But I found it so interesting, and I feel like, yeah, maybe I should also give it a try. But I also have to say it's interesting because I'm 176, which a lot of the models in the pictures are.
Yeah.
I also used to model back in the day.
Yeah.
So for me, that sounds very ignorant, but for me, it was never a problem to online shop,
Yeah.
I usually got my size right.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, I obviously thought I would be a 34 forever. So I just kept on ordering 34s. And at some point, it just didn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to accept it.
Yeah, I think we all have been through that. Yes.
So, and then as soon as I sized up to my actual size, I never actually had problems ordering. And then also what I usually do is I just check what the model is wearing. And if it's around my size, then I'll probably order that. So for me, I'm probably very blessed that it's possible because I've heard even just my mom, I would go to this store with her, and for me, all of the clothes were great. And then for her, she was like, no matter which size she put on, the pants would just not fit.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a weird body type, not very particular. And I just found it so, it must also be just on a psychological side, very frustrating for you when you're usually, let's say, 36 and then a 42 doesn't even fit you.
Yeah. And it's terrible, right? Mm-hmm. Because some brands also use what is called vanity sizing. So vanity sizing is when the size on the label and the actual measurements of the clothing are not the same. So they make you think you are skinnier than what you are, right? So that's one problem, is vanity sizing. Then the other big issue is that they just have a mess in their size chart. So even if they when they send to production, right, to manufacturing, they send them some specs, the tech pack. It will not be produced exactly the same in Peru than in Vietnam, for example, right? So what comes back on the online store or in the physical store are different. For example, jeans, right? Same jeans, same size, but it's not the same sizing. Yeah. And that's a big problem for them.
And one
Huge.
that you guys are solving or trying to solve, right?
For the brands that accept the problem, they usually send us the size charts. So they have their fit models, right? And then they see the inconsistency, so they send this to us, right? So we never go live anyway without testing with their fit models. Yeah. And then we see the discrepancy. And then we always double check by integrating in their returns platform, so via an API. And then we can see the reasons for returns, right? And what is important there is that retailers every, 2-3 months, whatever, change the order of the reasons for returns. Because usually people are lazy and they cross the first one.
The first one, yeah.
Yes. So some of our clients, you can return in their store, right? Like Zara also, or Renata & Go, whatever. You can return in store. And there they train their salespeople in the store to also have this returns reasons, so that we captured both from returns online and when people returned in the store where they bought online. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so important.
Some really make a lot of effort with us, and some not at all. It's very interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is, really.
Yeah. I mean, you guys must have so much interesting data.
We have a lot of data.
Yeah.
Yes. We need to, right? Because we always have to refine it, and every client is different. Mm-hmm. Every brand is different.
But maybe on the data aspect, where do you guys... So you said you only take the 3 questions, right?
Yes.
And then how do you save that for every session for me? So for instance, if I go on a website, it will always browser. Be there. It's on my browser.
It's on your browser.
If I go to different retailers, I will...
No.
No. So
that's not GDPR compliant. Yeah. So on that brand online, if you don't clean your browser history, whenever you come back, you will see the size that you should buy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you have done it, you do it once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't, as you said before, you don't have access to my purchasing history. You don't have access to anything. No. It's all anonymized. You don't even know if I'm a woman or I'm a man.
I don't know who is Kimia. Yeah. No way. No.
Yeah.
This I don't know. So the purchase history is on I look at the returns, right? That's why we integrate in the returns platform. But I don't see that it's Kimia who returned. The retailer doesn't share. On the API, okay. I don't have the names.
Yeah, so you will only see the percentage of people who have returned, but you will not know which one of them has returned.
No, we are full GDPR compliant.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, what types of challenges have you faced with regards to data security?
This I haven't faced major challenges that I can name.
Yeah.
What we have faced is challenges in the data, right? So the ones who don't have a returns management platform with an API, okay. Then we moved from Google Analytics, so GA3, which was super simple to use, to GA4. GA4, the way you have to segment and everything, most retailers till today don't know how to do that on GA4. It's pretty complex, right? What they call sessions, before it was called, conversion or whatever. They have changed all the naming, and it became very tedious. So then some of them have different data platforms. We have to integrate like with Telium, Adobe, whatever, right? So those are the things that we always have to keep an eye on. And then we're also Shopify. So we have a Shopify app. And there it's again another system. So now we developed our analytics on Shopify, right? So there they have access to a dashboard, our Shopify clients. It's linked to the orders. So reasons for returns. So when people have used EyeFitU, have they returned? When people didn't have used EyeFitU, this. Then the conversion rate increased, the AOV increased, so basket size increase. Cart abandonment rate, because there also when people use EyeFitU, they tend to abandon the cart much less. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah, I personally also am very data driven and I love a lot of data in general. I think it's so interesting what things you can infer from just a data set.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are doing an amazing job. It's very inspiring to see.
Work every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of inspiring, you're a woman in tech. Mm-hmm. You're actually our first ever female guest.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, it's an honor.
It's only the 4th episode, but still I was a little bit sad that we couldn't squeeze someone in between. And for us, Kiana and I, it's obviously always a big pleasure of talking with other women in tech and connecting. And I wanted to ask you, you've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
What have been the biggest challenges that you've faced, but then also the biggest upsides of being a woman in tech?
That's a good question. Thank you. So upsides, I think, is not linked to gender, I would say. Really not. The upsides are that my team is happy, my clients are happy, that we always try to innovate, and never put the arms down and continue, right? So that's the upside. Downside is definitely in the financing, definitely. So Switzerland is still, unfortunately, a little bit an all-boys club for anything that is not medtech or clean tech, right? It's anyway not an entrepreneurial country per se. I'm just saying if you look at France or Germany or Sweden or Denmark, how much money is raised, not only women or non-women, in general, right? Mm-hmm. Gender agnostic is, here people are less riskier. They don't take so many risks, right? Risk averse. And I would say for me, that was the biggest challenge, is to the funding, definitely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if I would start again and I would be your age, I would go definitely to the US without a blink of an eye.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I have a couple of friends in my orbit who are currently discussing moving to the US exactly for that reason.
100%.
Even though the whole climate there is very interesting at the moment.
Yeah, but this is political, You have to look at... there, it's also about relationships, in the US. It's also about looking for the right place to start, where there is a lot of talent, curious people, and then I think you are at a good start, right? Here it's, there are amazing startups in Switzerland, amazing. So many, right? But they tend to sell too early. When they can sell. They cannot raise those amounts that enable them to scale fast and globally, right? And for this, you need capital, big capital. In technology, it's not like in medtech or, biotech or whatever. Nobody has 15 years or 20 years, right? So you need capital very fast, even if you only have, a starting product or, the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Just the seed money has to be bigger,
Yeah, so if you had to start again, that means you would first of all move to the US?
Yes.
And then
100%.
Would you at all bootstrap at the beginning, or would you directly go for funding?
If you have the chance to bootstrap, I had the chance to bootstrap, I did. But it's not enough to scale. It depends what your ambitions are. If you want to have a middle-sized company or whatever, then I think you can achieve it here, right? Or if you want to sell very fast to one of the big fours or whatever, then I think you can achieve that here. You can get a few tens of millions, right, in capital here. But if you want to be a leader globally, then here is not the place, I would say. Chances are limited.
Very slim. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so interesting.
Chances are anyway slim, right? When you found a company and when you're a startup, but over there is still this culture that I like in the entrepreneurial world, is that if you fail, great, you learned a lot. Here in Europe, a bit less now in Sweden, I have to say. They are accepting that, and they have a very large startup ecosystem there, But here, you failed, basically, right? You failed. Over there, it's like, yeah, you tried. And that's also very important. Yeah. Because there, if you're an entrepreneur and you fail, which would likely happen, which is really likely to happen, then you stand up and you start again, right? And you have learned a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm really hoping that usually Switzerland is always a little bit behind with things, especially like mindset topics regarding this. And then also back in the day, obviously, I remember we would always go to the US to go shopping because in Switzerland, the shops just didn't exist, right?
Yes.
And I think the mindset shift will arrive, but it's just going to be a little bit later.
I think it's European, I wouldn't blame Switzerland, because if you are in Spain or in Italy or in France and you have failed, you're still a failure somehow. It's not, you're an entrepreneur and it's normal to fail. If you don't fail, it's not normal. Mm-hmm. And this is this mind shift in old Europe that has to hopefully evolve very quickly, because in Switzerland, the talent is immense. The universities are top ranked. We have so much talent, right? And we have so much capital. So we have to enable that capital to also enable those companies to be global leaders, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we have in manufacturing, like we have in other industries. For such a small country, when you think about it, we have so many industries where we are leaders.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, pharma.
Yes.
It's a really big one, right?
But also in some manufacturing, very precise manufacturing instruments, we are really global leaders.
Mm. And I also worked at a small company called Schindler back in the day.
Yeah, of course.
So they're obviously also on the forefront globally.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I think Switzerland has amazing heritage. But we had our second guest on the podcast was Clay Douglas, and he's a serial entrepreneur. He's amazing. We had such a great conversation with him. And we also talked a little bit about the differences between Switzerland and the US to found a company. And we also came to the conclusion that, in Switzerland, people kind of have to be more sure before they put in money. So for
Yes.
seed, it's super, super, super hard to get.
Exactly.
But that's what you need, right? If you
Yeah.
really want to scale.
That's what you need, of course, because you need to attract talent as well. You cannot grow fast if you don't have talent. You cannot grow fast alone. And you need that seed money, definitely. Yes.
Yeah, so circling back on the topic of women, you're surrounded by a lot of women in your life.
Yes.
How is that?
That is, I don't know anything else, so I cannot compare, to be honest, but they're good. They are all very good in their own field, right?
Yeah.
So,
and at the beginning, you said that you told them just to do what they want.
Yeah.
Right?
yes.
Is there any other advice you would give other women out there that maybe want to start something in the tech space or in general?
Definitely. Go ahead. Try it out. Try to get, funding. Don't be shy. Never be shy. And go to men as well as women. If you need to raise money, knock at every door. Just bombard, and you will get it. But you have to be persistent. That's the thing, right?
Yeah. I think now Canva had an IPO, right?
Yes.
And I remember their story being,
Yeah,
I think
she's amazing.
Yeah, she's
Yes.
she's such an inspiration.
Yes.
And I think their story was also they went to like 100 people before they got
Yeah.
their first money.
Yeah.
Which just shows you that you just need to be persistent. Don't take it personally. It's just
No.
part of the journey.
Yes.
And from failure, you learn just what you said before, right?
I think so, really. And you will get rejected and rejected and rejected, and they will each put your business plan in their Excels. And we know all those Excels models, right, of VCs. And doesn't matter. Continue. Yeah.
Maybe have you been part of like a community where you exchange with other entrepreneurs throughout your journey? Or did you have a mentor, or how did you start?
Yes, of course. I mean, my husband is a serial entrepreneur. That helps a lot. But also my investors are serial entrepreneurs. So they are calling me regularly. Yes. And which I love because they give me very sound advice. They're also pressing me like a lemon sometimes, but that's part of the game. Yes.
And how did you find your investors? Or
so it's family offices. I don't have any VC, and it's really through networking. That's how it is. Yeah. It's networking. So you have the networking that is open to investing in women, or and then you have the other part, which is like the gentleman club kind of thing, right? And you come as a woman, they already said no before this, so they accept because whatever, right? Someone or something, but it's a no. But it's a good training for you to pitch. So even if you think they are not interested, my advice would be go there, because you will learn, right? They will give you feedback, you will pitch, and you will learn. You also learn from the negative.
100.
Yeah.
I think you learn more from the negative.
Yes.
To be honest.
You're right.
I mean, now also we found it in October, and it's been such a roller coaster. I've had so many ups, and when they were up, it was very up.
Yes.
So really good times. And then we also had, like throughout the summer, we now had a little bit less clients.
Yeah.
So for me, it was the first time experiencing this, right? Because we had such a great start.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's also, I think, not the norm to start and like in 1 second you already have a couple of clients who want to work with you. So we were very lucky and blessed in that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we had this down, and then I was like, oh my God, I now actually have to go out and make sales because I have like squeezed up my network, right?
Yes.
So that was also for me very interesting to approach people that I don't necessarily know or just know through an intro.
Yeah.
And obviously I have worked with people who I didn't know at previous companies, but then it was in my company and my name on the door, right? So was different when you then have a sales call with someone and you have to sell yourself, your company, and then they say no. And it's so much harder when you are so associated with the brand. And even though it's probably a no because they just at the moment don't have the budget or don't have the time and maybe later, it's still a no. And for me, I remember the first no that I got, it was so hard.
Yeah.
But then since then, obviously, I have gotten other no's and it's like, whatever, I'm just going to move on and on to the next one, right?
There will be a yes, and same with me, right? I sell every day and there is always, a reason. Or either no budget, or it's not in our digital roadmap, or we are also looking at a competitor. So, the pricing, they try to squeeze you before they even know what's your price, right? Mm-hmm. So there are always so many, and you know them by now. So it's the first call is always a lot about listening and asking the right questions. And then you can feel the person a bit better because, we do all of our call. Everything is online. The conference call is really rare that I meet someone in person. So then you have to feel the person through the camera and the body language, and some of them ask to record you, Then, you have to get the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have a tip for me when I'm going to go out and do my next sale?
Let them talk more than you talk. I would say, if they have time. But always respect their time. So if they tell you I have 30 minutes, then at 25 past, you say, we are not done, or shall we schedule one for next week because we are not finished, because they were talking all the time, so they know that. And then you get another chance for another call or another in-person meeting,
Mm-hmm.
I realized when I do that, then they are very respectful, and I respect your time, this and that. But they've been talking all the time. So you get the second chance.
That's a really great
to
tip.
go more in depth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to have that usually. But then it has happened to me before that they were just talking all the time and then I couldn't even ask the questions that I was supposed to ask. But then we did exactly what you did. We just rescheduled.
Great.
Another call. Yeah.
That's good because then you build, you start building a relationship. At the end of the day, it's always about relationships. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you sell, whatever you do. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have quite a busy life, right? So how do you usually stay focused and energized throughout the day with everything going on? Do you have like a morning routine or do you work out a lot or?
I work out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's part of my routine in the mornings. This I work out. If I have calls with Australia, that's very early. So then I go afterwards, right? Because usually at 6 or 7 a.m., that's a bit, I sleep, right? I need my 8-hour sleep. I'm not someone who doesn't sleep. No way. I always slept. It's very important to sleep.
Yeah, for me personally, I think it's the superstar. You really need your sleep. Otherwise, everything else is not optimal. Yeah.
Some people say they need 4 hours, 5 hours. I'm so happy for them. But me, I cannot function as efficiently, over time with so little sleep. There is no way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm the same. There is a genetic mutation, I believe, that it exists, that people only need 4 hours, but it's very rare.
It's very rare.
So
we are not part of that.
Not at all, no.
Exactly.
I'm 8, even pushing towards 9.
Yeah.
If possible.
Yes, of course. So then I adjust my fitness, over lunchtime maybe or whatever. But I need to go. Right?
Every day?
No, I don't go every day. I would say on the weekends, yes, I do something every day, Saturday, Sunday, and then 2 to 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because obviously you also need rest. And if you have such a demanding and stressful day.
Yeah, but I need to make the break, you know. So the social life then is suffering, right, during the week. Because I don't see, but I guess that's everybody working so much, you know. So, and then I work in general till 7:30. 7:30 we have dinner. Yes. So, pretty boring life. That's all I do, Kimia. But it's okay. I like it. I love it. So, yeah.
Nice. And I also, I mean, every time I talk with you, I really feel like you have found a purpose, you know, like truly, I feel like you really like what you do. And I guess, obviously, sometimes it's going to feel like work, but in general, I feel like you found something that you really enjoy.
Yes, I do. And I feel responsible for it. And I love my team. So that's also very important, you know.
Yeah.
So we are chatting the whole day, right? I'm alone, but we are chatting the whole day. So
you're all remote, right?
We're all remote. Yeah.
Yeah.
All remote.
How do people react when you tell them you don't have an office?
No reaction at all. I think it became completely normal.
Imagine before COVID.
Yeah. I was remote then. I was remote then.
Yeah.
So sometimes my CTO, you know, he lives in 10 minutes, 20 minutes from me. So I have a nice room. So many times he came and we had the calls together, you know. So it's like an office anyways.
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting, the office topic, because I also was asked a lot, actually, since we found it, where is your office? And then I tried to explain to them that we're actually a services business. So we don't technically have an office.
Yeah.
And usually if the client wants to see us, we can just go on site, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also regarding all of these technical digital products, I feel like people are much more open to having you work remotely, right? And then also, honestly, COVID has helped a lot with understanding that you do not have to be in an office all day in order to be productive. Because for me, for instance, it works so much better when I'm at home. At the office, I would just get distracted all the time. People will come up in the middle of my task, and then I have like 2 minutes to get back into the task. And at home, I can just hyper-focus, finish, and then be done with the day, right?
Yes, and I think a mix of both is not bad, right? So, like, if you have the choice, maybe 1 or 2 days a week, that you have a choice.
It's also about the community and social aspect, right? That you actually interact with your peers.
Us, we were always remote. It's different scenario. But today, I think an office life is also important. That you are not always alone with your laptop, you know, and I don't know. I don't know what is I think it's also very personal. Some people, like, for example, maybe you work better 2-3 days remote, you know, and the rest in an office environment with your colleagues and everything. It's also personal.
Yeah, definitely. But I do think the community aspect is important.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
I also have seen startups that just kind of, they go into co-working spaces, and then for the day you always have to say if you're going or not, so they can like have a spot for you, and then they just meet and work together there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's also really cool to have the flexibility, but then also if someone wants to work remote, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of people forcing people into the office, but I have to say, depending on what job you have, sometimes it's better if you're there.
Yes.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Now the tendency is force them back to work, you know? And I don't know, when you've been 4 years or like this, you know, remote, it's also a change, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of people actually, I've heard also, I think it was when AWS said people have to come back to the office. They had people working for the company that lived like 3 or 4 hours away or even further
That doesn't work.
because they were open for remote work, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they had to quit
change
their
of
job.
life.
Yeah.
Or change where you live and everything, your kids at school, whatever, I think you lose less time in commuting and, so it's really depending on the families, on your family situation, on where you live, where is the company, the offices, so many factors, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm very happy that people are more open to it now.
Yeah, me too.
And I do think the pandemic had a great impact on
Yeah,
that, as
I
it
agree.
had on a lot of different things.
I agree.
I mean, even just digitization and like a lot of people didn't have, or a lot of companies didn't religiously use these online tools for meetings and so on, and then having to implement everything. I mean, it gave such a big boost
Yes.
to companies having to go digital. And I think obviously it was a great tragedy.
Yeah.
And I really don't wish that COVID had happened, but it had not only negative, but also some positive impacts, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I think you are spot on. And back then, there was WebEx, but now you have so many tools you can use. You can summarize when you have a conference call right after, so many tools you can use, really. And I love that. It makes our days much more efficient.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially when they're properly integrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have very complicated application landscape, give me a call. I come and clean up for you.
Thank you. I will. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. We do have a closing tradition.
Yeah.
But actually, I already asked the question before.
Okay.
But the closing tradition is that if you could give one piece of advice to someone considering becoming an entrepreneur, what would it be?
Go for it. Enjoy. Have fun, whether you're successful or not. Yeah. Follow your dream.
Or maybe, you know what, I feel like I have a better closing question
Go
for
ahead.
you. So if you could give one piece of advice to moms at home who want to start the second half of their career, what would it be?
The same.
Just do it.
Just do it. Exactly the same, Kimia.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Yeah. And if they have a lot of doubts and they feel like they haven't worked in such a long time and they don't know.
They can give me a call.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Me or many friends of mine who have also gone, in that direction. The only thing you can have is regret that you haven't done it.
Yeah.
So,
well said.
right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
Where can people find you and learn more about EyeFitU?
On LinkedIn, is that a good platform for you, Kimia?
Yeah.
So on LinkedIn, Isabelle Ohnemus, connect, send me messages, questions, whatever. Always opened.
Nice. Thank you so, so much, Isabelle. I had such a great conversation.
Me too.
Even though it was just the two of us. Usually Kiana always has amazing inputs as well.
Yeah.
How do you, by the way, like our podcast studio?
I love your podcast studio.
It's so cool, right?
It is so cool. It is cozy, like the Danes say hygge. It's very hygge, and one feels very comfortable.
Amazing.
The light is amazing, the decoration.
Yeah, so nice.
Very
I hope
nice.
that we can someday bring a camera in here. But for those wondering where we are, we're at headquarters in Zurich, and they have been so kind to sponsor this episode. Isabelle, I wish you all the best on your journey and so many exciting new releases.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
It was such a pleasure talking to you. And I'm looking forward to staying in contact. And
likewise.
Who knows, maybe we can do a female roundtable at some time.
With great pleasure. Anytime.
Also record a session. That's so cool. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Tech and Thrive. If you enjoyed the conversation, make sure to follow us on Instagram at techandthrive_podcast and learn more about our work at kimiana.co. If you'd like to support the show or be a guest, we'd love to hear from you. Just drop us a message at info@kimiana.co. Until next time.